Alrighty, hello everybody. Today we are going to be reviewing a movie. Well, I was kind of on my Mullen Ackerman kick, and I thought this movie would have been better with the cast it had in it, but yeah, it was just a little. I don't know. This movie was just. I don't know how else to describe it, but bad. Um, yeah. So this movie is called Friendsgiving, which is a movie about a bunch of. Well, it's supposed to be like this quiet Thanksgiving between two friends because one of them has just broken up with her girlfriend, and the other one is, I guess, kind of supposed to be there as her support. And she ends up, I think she just got a divorce, right? Or is recently divorced again, so she's rebounding with this new guy, and they're trying a whole bunch of new things. So Malin Ackerman played Molly, Kat Dennings played Abby, Jack Donnelly played Jeff, Aisha Tyler played Lauren. Jane Seymour played Helen, who was Molly's mom. Dion Cole played Dan, who was Lauren's husband. Ryan Hansen played Gunnar, who was an ex of Molly. Might have actually been her ex-husband, if I'm not mistaken. Chelsea Peretti played Claire. Uh, Christine Taylor played Brienne. Andrew Santino played Rick. Who else was in this? Oh, right. Dana DiLorenzo played Barbara, who was who was Abby's sister, but she's kind of like a second cast character, really. And then Rose uh, Abdu played Linda, Abby's mom, right? Barbara was Abby's sister. And then, yeah, the fairy godmothers, but they're kind of like secondary characters. And then Aunt Anna, yeah, but she's secondary. So I guess really the main cast was the ones that were in the house. So I guess it was supposed to be quiet Thanksgiving that ended up being this big, huge party, and obviously things go to crap really quickly because people start inviting people that obviously, yeah, aren't wanted there by Molly, and clearly Abby didn't want any of this to be happening, and she kind of feels like the outcast, so she leaves at the beginning, but then she ends up coming back, and oh my God, just what a mess. And yeah, this movie was just super boring, and a lot of the comedy seemed forced. And it was just kind of like a mixed up jumble of conversations, and there was really no clear, like, storyline, I wouldn't say, to it, other than the fact that one of them was trying to find a perfect match for herself, and the other one was, yeah, trying to, I guess, maybe find out who she truly really was. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But yeah, it was just kind of like a messed up jumble of conversations, and some unfortunate events happen, obviously, when Abby gives the baby some walnuts, and the baby ends up almost getting sick, or getting sick, I guess, and they have to take it to the hospital, and yeah, that was messed up. And then her mother inviting, um, sorry, Molly's mother inviting her ex, and I guess getting her third or fourth divorce, I don't even know. But Molly's ex seems to kind of have come around, I guess, as a human being, a little bit, because I think he probably could have easily hooked up with Molly's mom, and he didn't. He chose not to because I guess maybe he's still somewhat in love with Molly. And then obviously the new guy, Jeff, was just there to kind of show off the entire Thanksgiving and try to prove his love to Molly because he was in love with her, even though it might not have been reciprocated. And she finally tells Abby that it might have been a rebound. And then Abby ends up hooking up partially with Lauren at one point. So obviously Dan gets upset about that. And I don't know, Chelsea Peretti was just kind of, or Claire was just kind of there. and so was the other couple that was there, Rick and Brienne. I guess they all kind of know one another. And then there was one other guy who was there. Oh yeah, Mike Rose played Gus. And then somebody was trying to invite. Can't remember. Was it Molly that tried to invite people to find potential matches for Abby? So one of them was. Oh wow, her actual name is River Butcher. Uh, played Denham, and then Scout Durwood played Paulo, and Brianna Baker played Sybil, and two of them actually end up getting together at this party. Just what a mess this movie was. Yeah, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense. There was no really clear plot line to me, I suppose, and yeah, it was just kind of like, again, it just kind of seemed like there was more. It kind of seemed like an actual scenario that could happen, but it almost didn't feel like even a movie. It just felt like this was happening in their real lives. That's almost what this felt like to me. And then, oh my God, Jeff tries to order all this stuff for her, and he doesn't have any money. And obviously, her mother is upset about that. She wants her to be set up with some guy who's wealthy and blah 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 blah. And it's like, Mom, what do you know? You've already been through three divorces, or three or four divorces. Like, why are you even bothering giving me any sort of relationship advice? Is basically Molly's stand. And then, oh, when Abby's tripping on mushrooms, though, that was funny when the fairy godmothers come and tell her a whole bunch of stuff, and then she finally realizes that she's been upset really about nothing, and she really needs to get out there and kind of live for herself a little bit. And then the baby thing happens, and then obviously Molly and Abby get into this huge fight, and then they kind of make up again. I mean, the bloopers were funnier than the movie. If this was supposed to be a comedy movie, they kind of flopped on that point, that's for sure. And I just, yeah, was not a fan of this movie at all. Thought it was going to be way different than what it was. But again, like, I don't know how else to describe it other than it was just like a bunch of random conversations. And half the time, everybody was talking all at once. So it made it very hard for you to stay focused on what the point of this movie actually was, other than just a bunch of random people getting together for Thanksgiving and it just being dysfunctional. Like, if that was the plot, even that was weak. Like, I don't know what else to say about this movie. Like, I've kind of gone over most of the scenes and, kind of what happens, but it felt like these actors and actresses, even though they're all good, didn't really try in this movie. They were just kind of there to get a paycheck. That's kind of, I don't know. That's kind of what this movie felt like to me. Because yeah, most of these people I knew and liked. So I was like, okay, I've seen most of these people in movies before. This ought to be good. But no, it was just a flop. So I give this movie a 2 out of 10, and it only got a 4.4 out of 10 on IMDb. So I mean, their rating was even higher than mine. But I really can't give this movie any high praise because it just was not good. But I mean, some people might like it. Maybe this is your style of movie. If it is, I mean, kudos to you if you can make it through the whole thing. I mean, I did because I knew I was going to be reviewing it, which is what I do with most of the movies I watch. Sometimes I watch stuff for myself, like some documentaries and certain things that just aren't as easy to review. But when it comes to most regular movies, I review it, so I painfully sit there and watch it just to see if there's any ups to this movie, but there just was not, as far as I was concerned. And yeah, things were just really weird in certain parts, and yeah, it just wasn't really well put together. So anyway, I will see you guys in the next review. Bye bye for now.